Alrighty, Steeler Nation. So I'm going to treat this episode a bit more like a podcast. As you can see, every time I talk, that the Steelers Nation old logo goes up and down like an audio wave. And the reason is why I'm talking like this in the form of a podcast is a few reasons. One, it's super cold. I've got my hoodie on. Two, I'm just chilling out, looking through Twitter. And I want to talk, some hopeful things or some good things, some positive things about our Steelers. Now, I just made this emoji too, by the way. And I think it's going to be the winner in HDU, Hooley Dooley University. If you guys want to support and become a member of HDU, I would 1000% appreciate it. We already have some great members there, over 100. I appreciate all the people who are gifting subs. And, we make cool emojis like this with Professor Bloke. All these kind of things are happening. Just a bit of fun, to have like a make-believe university and just to grow the Steeler Nation Oz community for what it is, right? But I want to show you guys something that I created. And this is just Pittsburgh 101. Pittsburgh Steelers. If you think of this bloke, I think he's one of my favorite players, I think, in the whole NFL. And he's my favorite Pittsburgh Steelers player. Not Professor Bloke. So I'll get rid of him. Let's get rid of that bloke there. Right. This bloke here, James Debo Harrison. I saw this picture online. And I was like, this has to be a meme or an emoji or something like that. The overall do not F with me stare. I was like, man, James Debo Harrison, he was so fun to watch when I was a kid, getting, 2 Super Bowls, being cut numerous times. He was one time a Raven, I think he was cut. He was a Bengal for a year. He was a Patriot, but his heart and soul bleeds black and gold. I also saw over the weekend that Troy put on an event called the Resilience Bowl in Heinz Field. And he was doing workouts and activities, and he had a flag football event on. You saw Big Ben. I think you saw a lot of the 08 crew there. B-Mac, Brian McFadden, James Debo Harrison was there. Heaps and heaps and heaps of Steeler legends. So when I think Steelers football, I know a lot of you guys go back to Jack Lambert, me and Joe Green, of course. But in my era, or my Steelers fandom, it really goes back to James Debo Harrison. Like, this guy might be one of the scariest blokes on the planet, or scariest football players in the game. When I think he won Defensive Player of the Year in 2008 when we won our Super Bowl. Had the 99-yard, interception to the house when he said, when Mike Tomlin, famously said, "I'm tired, boss." Like, this bloke's awesome. And when I saw this picture, I was like, I got to make an emoji. And hopefully it does win in the HDU competition versus the other one, which was the Ravens. I've got it here too. I was going to have another emoji calling the Ravens suck. And they do suck, by the way. And Ravens suck at 1-7. And I was going to track that as we go versus the Ravens. Since 2020, the Steelers have beaten the Ravens 7 times and they've only won once. But I put a poll out there for the members, and I'm pretty sure this guy's going to win. But the reason why I bring this up is I look around the OTAs, all the Steelers OTAs on Twitter, and there's something to be hopeful about this team. There really is. First of all, I want to bring up the idea around McCormick, right? The guard, number 66, not Kenny McCormick from the South Park, right? I've got a video here. I can't show it, but I can explain to you what I'm seeing. And it was him pushing a sled, right? It's a normal routine play. Mason McCormick is a beast. There was a tweet by Matthew Lusallo. I think he's on Twitter, Steelers fan. At 93.7 The Fan, Mason McCormick is a beast. He's absolutely pushing back that sled up high, using all his shoulders, leg drive. See you later. And this is just telling you that football is coming back. We have so many great players like TJ Watt. I think, it's going to be fun to watch. Broderick Jones again on the O-line. It's going to be fun to watch. JPJ, I'm looking forward to him. Darnell Washington at tight end. Freiermuth into his year. And that's why I'm saying there's something hopeful. There's something hopeful about this team going into the season. There should always be some amount of positivity going into the season, 0-0. Russell Wilson looks like he's going to start. He's been throwing the football around. I do have hope and luck for Justin Fields to turn things around, and maybe he can be a franchise guy. But right now, too, at the same time, I'm going with Russell Wilson. If the coach believes in Wilson, I believe in Wilson. And it's still kind of crazy that he's on our team and the fact how that's all worked out. So I see other pictures here too. I see Patrick Queen wearing number 6. He looks checked in. Patrick Queen has been fighting a few fans on Twitter. Ravens fans been going back and forth. And, they're selling him out and they're saying, we don't want you as a Raven, yada, yada. You went to a piss poor they're calling our franchise piss poor and all those kind of things. And Queen's gone back at him. I think he's getting ready also to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. So that same face there with James Debo Harrison, you're going to have, I think, the intensity with those middle linebackers being Queen and also being Elena Robinson too, who has won 2 Super Bowls. So there are two reasons already with E-Rob and Patrick Queen to be hopeful about our Steelers. The middle linebacker position looks like it's kind of fixed. Not totally fixed, but it looks a lot better than it has in the previous years. So I'm just chilling, guys. I'm scrolling through Twitter. You don't want to see my ugly head at the moment. And I see James Debo Harrison taking pictures with the fans. That looks awesome out there when he did the Resilience Bowl with Troy. They just had also Pittsburgh Steelers put on an event for Steel Hers, which is like an event for all the ladies out there. So Pittsburgh is doing the right things. As a city, as a team, as a franchise, they're doing all the right things to set themselves up for success. In terms of they have the draft in 2026. Mike Tomlin, Omar Khan are getting all the right players. Andy Waddle, they're all building the O-line from the draft. They got, Ciamalo from the Eagles. They're doing all the right things and bringing back that culture, that physicality, run game, and, with Warren and he's undrafted guy. So it's a lot of fun right now. And we should be very, very hopeful for the Steelers to do something in 2024. And of course, it does come down to when you get to the playoffs, you got to win the division or you get a wild card. They need to win a playoff game. But I did see as well that Patrick Peterson, he wants to sign back with the Steelers. He went on the Jim Rome show. If you can find that tweet, he talks about how it was a massive privilege to work and be a part of the Steelers and how much high respect he has for Mike Tomlin, which is awesome. Now, could the Steelers bring back Peterson? It could be a possibility. Maybe you bring him back to be, I don't know, slot corner. Maybe you have him in a limited role where you give him a 1-year deal and you have a ride and you use his veteran presence. He got better down the stretch in 2023. At the start, it was a bit shaky, but maybe you bring him back just to be a part of the 53. Right? I also see Russell Wilson in the uniform, the away uniform, throwing footballs to the other rookie Wilson, number 10. It says here on Fox Sports, Russ in the black and yellow, but we all know it's black and gold. So training camp is up and running, and there is something hopeful about our team. I did see another picture, and I will try and put it in right here. This picture of Patrick Queen, Steelers OTAs, just looks fantastic. Number 6, the Steelers don't give out single digits that often, and they obviously believe highly in Queen to make an impact for the black and gold. So that was pretty awesome too. I'm scrolling through Twitter. I see other things here. I've got 93.7 The Fan, Day 2 Steelers. A little more defensive practice. I've got McCormick running the sled. I've got Najee Harris walking around with footballs. I've got Loudermilk pushing things out of the way. These blokes are getting back into it. And as we get closer to summer, I've got Queen pushing the sled. I've got Mike Tomlin standing there with his towel. It's fantastic. As we get back into this thing, we should start to get hyped. But I did fall to the trap last year when I got too hyped. But it happens all the time. When you get really hyped and then there's a really bad performance, and then what do? You go 0-1 versus the 49ers, and it sucked. Got another video here that I'm watching is from Trey Carney. I think he's a Pittsburgh Steeler guy. So a lot of Pittsburgh Steeler media members are taking, you know what? I would rather the Pittsburgh Steeler media members take footage and say nothing. Just show me footage of the players running around. I don't need your overall speculation, or I don't need your overall comments of like this player is doing that, this, and whatever. Sometimes just watching video of the players, it's awesome to see how fit they are, how strong they are, how checked in they are. So that's number 56 and number 90. Then I think too, like with some of the additions the Steelers have been making in terms of the draft and the free agents we've picked up, like Queen and like Wilson and Fields, I think we kind of also forget about TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith on his deal too. So I look at some tape there, then just running around, pushing the bags out of the way. But the Steelers are getting back into the swing of things, and we should feel hopeful about this team. I know it's a really hard schedule, but there's a legitimate chance that the Pittsburgh Steelers could win the division. If they have a really good, strong start and they go 7-3 or 8-2 before the bye, and they come back after the bye and they verse the Commanders, maybe they beat the Commanders, and they go 9-3 or something like that. They build on their success throughout the season, they stay healthy, then these guys can definitely have a chance to win the division. So I want to keep scrolling, keep talking more about our Steelers, man. I'm just super excited. I appreciate everyone in the live chats recently. I appreciate everyone that checks out Steeler Nation Oz. And yeah, I've just seen a lot of good things. Like obviously, I can't be there all the way here in Australia. You guys know that. And our best source of information sometimes is the media. So we do need the media for that sense. But then other times you see things with Cameron Haywood getting called out by Jerry Dulac, and then Mark Madden backs it up. And Mark Madden's in a tweet, Jerry isn't lying. Cam's trying to save face. The athlete will always say what makes him look good because he knows marks like you will believe him, so F off. I've never been a fan of Mark Madden. I think Mark Madden is an absolute idiot. I'm going to back Cameron Haywood, every single time. And when Cameron Haywood says this, he responded to Mark Madden. He said, not trying to save face, but I've been upfront and honest. The way I was depicted of not communicating with the team is completely wrong. There've been calls, and I've actually spoken to multiple people. Might want to check your source. This media member will say anything to get clicks. And Cameron Haywood is not wrong. He's definitely not wrong in that term. I've talked about it before on this channel numerous times. Matty Peverill did a really good video on Steelers TDU, Steelers touchdown under. If you want to check that out, about talking about the media, how we need them, but are they overstepping the line in terms of, falsely representing our Steelers? Because at the end of the day, they're your Steelers, they're my Steelers, they're Steeler Nation. Like they're a team that plays football to win games, and they want to win it for themselves 100%. TJ Watt, Russell Wilson want to win games to implement their legacy, but same time too, they're our Steelers. So when the media represents them wrongly or falsely with wrong information, then fans overreact to it and say, we shouldn't pay Cameron Haywood. He sucks. He's terrible. Why would we do that? And it's like, do you understand what Cameron Haywood's story is? So I respect Cam for that even more than I did before. And the funny thing is like Cameron Haywood's my age. I'm 34. He's 35. And sometimes when you look at the bloke, you feel like he's 45, 50, just because of the amount of veteran presence he has in that locker room. And he's been around since 2011. So I feel like with the Cameron Haywood situation is that they should treat him to retire a Steeler. Maybe you do a 1-year contract, a 2-year contract, and then you get out of there. By 2026, maybe you're looking for a new D-line. Maybe if you've built that up. I have all faith and trust in Omar Khan, all faith and trust in Mike Tomlin. I know some don't, but I do. All faith and trust in the Steelers right now, how they're building their team throughout the draft and getting key players through the free agent period. So Cameron Haywood is, going back and forth with Mike Madden. I can't stand him. I never have liked him. And Jerry was apparently making things up in terms of what Cameron Hayward said. Now, I'm also I'm scrolling down through my Twitter just to get some ideas and just, go through Black and Gold Steelers content, right? There's a video here of not Ike Taylor, 24, Joey Porter Jr. I got a big feeling too that Joey Porter Jr. might have a really, really massive year this year. He ended really strong. I like the way how the defense is set up for him. I like the way how he can take down one player if he gets right in their face, goes man to man. Steelhead mentality. He fights like his dad did. They shot me in Denver. Like that's, Joey Porter was awesome to watch. Now we have Joey Porter Jr. at cornerback. He's confident. He's looking pretty fit out there. He looks like he's ready to go into year 2, having fun, mucking around. And we can build from that point by having Minka as our safety. And then we have a great defense with Cam, TJ, Highsmith, Queen. This will be something where the Steelers could really, they could keep the opposition down from, beyond 20 points and less, because JPJ can shut down some receivers too. A few more things and we'll start to wrap it up. I did see a tweet here from Steelers Now saying Troy Fautanu is adjusting after a rough first day. To be very honest, if rookies are having a first day, it doesn't bother me. We're still 4 months away. 4 months away from the first game. So the OTAs are not week 1 of the regular season. I'm not too worried if I see high snaps or if I see poor performance from the O-line, or if I see, people getting the snap count wrong, or they run the wrong routes. It's all part of the process, all part of training camp, all part of the OTAs. So that article was saying that he's having a rough first day because it was a little bit different to college. You know what I'm saying? But we know that was going to happen. It's always going to be rough for rookies. I'm not too worried about Troy Fautanu or Zach Frazier, are trying to adjust themselves into the NFL. Right, so I'm scrolling down to another one I retweeted, and maybe I'll call this like a Twitter segment. I don't know what I'll call this. But Steelers have hosted now 1,000 women at Acrisure Stadium and Heinz Field for the first ever Steel Hers Social, bringing together an amazing female fan base, current players, along with Troy, number 43, were on hand to share the time with the ladies. First of all, that is absolutely fantastic. Shout out to all the Steeler fan base ladies out there, because sometimes I feel like you guys are way more crazy than blokes or men. The amount of passion and overall Steelers knowledge that some of the lady fan base out there has can be 10 times worth, a bloke or a dude. And it is awesome to see. So it's really cool. They had over 1,000 women at Acrisure Stadium or Heinz Field for the first ever Steelers social event. Right here. A few more down here. I've just got the Pittsburgh Steelers sharing a picture of Coach Tomlin, and I've just retweeted the legend Coach T. I believe they will probably give Coach Tomlin an extension. I know some people don't like that. I believe they'll give him an extension. I think like a 2 or 3 year extension, maybe in this offseason, with everything that's been happening. Also, too, with the draft. I think you want the draft coming out in 2026. I think he's one of the most stable head coaches we've had. Of course, you've had Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and now Coach Tomlin. Like 3 head coaches in 50 years. The organization is going in the right direction. I think it would be silly at this time to go and fire him or let him go and bring a new guy in. I know half the fan base wants him gone. You guys know how strongly I support Coach T. He's in now one of the best positions, I think, in his career in terms of like the skill players and coaching with Arthur Smith, front office people with Omar Khan, Andy Weidel, that he's in a really great position to move this franchise to get that playoff win. And we don't just want one playoff win. We want 2 or 3 and chase number 7. So, Coach T, I wish him all the best. I understand people want to get rid of him. That's your word against mine, and we'll move on. Righty, a few more. Let's talk about the draft. One more thing I want to talk about the draft, and then we'll wrap it up. Unless I had anything else. No, I didn't. So, yes, I will be attending. The Pittsburgh Steelers 2026 NFL draft, of course, in the city of Pittsburgh. By that time, in 2 years' time, I could have been there maybe 4 or 5 times. So I have been to Pittsburgh in 2015. This was the first time I ever saw Heinz Field. It was crazy. Walking up the Heinz Field, I was like, man, this is insane. I played this. I played, Madden, and I saw Heinz Field from movies or TV or EA Sports when I was playing Madden, and then seeing the stadium in person is absolutely unreal. It is fantastic. Then in 2016, I went to Christmas Day game, Steelers versus Ravens. We won the division. Antonio Brown puts his arm over the goal line. The Pittsburgh Steelers win 31-27, win the division. Then a few years later, I went to Pittsburgh on an American tour with my dad, and that was cool to see. We're about there a week, about 4 or 5 days, showing him Mount Washington, showing on a Heinz Field tour, all that kind of stuff. Was fantastic. Was so much fun. And now in 2024, I'm coming back home. I'm going home for Christmas. Steelers versus Chiefs, and it's going to be absolutely unreal. So I'll be there for 10 days, I think from the 18th of December to the 28th of December. And I'm going to do the best I can to do some meetups and things like that. But I'm going to be very busy as well. So I can't be everywhere at once, but I will be trying to meet up with some podcasters. You guys know them from, It's Yinsberg or Steelers Dynasty Podcast or Mike Drop Sports. Going to do my best to catch up and have a beverage and possibly try and host a watch party, Steelers versus Ravens, in a bar on Saturday, the 22nd of December. And hopefully we're in a chance to win the division at that point or the week after Steelers versus Chiefs Christmas Day. So it is fantastic. And then you have, that will be the 4th time I've been. There could be a chance I might go back in 2025. If I can't, though, I'll save my pennies to go back for the 2026 NFL draft in Pittsburgh, which would be absolutely insane. And we found that out yesterday. So it'll be freaking awesome. NFL announced 2026 NFL draft will be held in Pittsburgh. And everyone's saying, oh, where we're going to put them, where we're going to put the fans. They'll find a way. I'm sure they don't just make this decision lightly. I'm sure they will find fans or create, the NFL stage around Acrisure Stadium or Heinz Field or the North Shore or Point Park or downtown. They will find places to put Yinzers and other NFL fans. And what better way to showcase the city? It is absolutely fantastic. They have the 2026 NFL draft, and that's 2 years away. But we need to focus on the next few, weeks and this season in 2024 because this is a massive one. Like we went through the schedule the other day, and here it is just to kind of wrap up this show. So it's a hard schedule. You're going to the Falcons and Denver Broncos, the 2 away games. You're then going to your first home game with the Chargers, then at Indy Colts away, Dallas Cowboys prime time. They're going to Vegas, then two New York games back to back in prime time. Then to finish it off, they have their bye week 9. Washington Commanders, week 10, Ravens, Browns, Bengals, Browns, 4-0. Like if we go 4-0, if we take care of business and go 4-0, that'd be absolutely insane. If Lamar Jackson isn't playing for the Ravens, then if he got injured, that could be a possibility. If the Cleveland Browns stink in week 12, that's a huge possibility. Going towards the Bengals could be a tough game. They still have Joe Burrow, and then maybe they're trying to fight for a wild card. But that's pretty late in the season. And then we verse the Browns again at home. That 4-0 stretch would be fantastic. If we went 3-1 or 4-0, that would be a massive chance to win the division and also to have a wild card spot. Then you have Philadelphia Eagles, Baltimore Ravens, which is the one I'm going to try and organize a watch party meetup. And I'll be putting that out, at the end of the year. If you guys want to have a chance to do that, I would recommend if you do want to have a chance to do that, please try and be a member. I won't be posting a lot of details for my trip hugely to the public on YouTube, but I will be putting out to HDU members if they want to catch up in Pittsburgh in not 2026, in 2024 for Christmas Day game. So Baltimore Ravens, be a fun time. Hopefully we can beat them. KC Chiefs, Christmas Day game. Then to finish it off is Cincinnati Bengals. So it's a tough stretch. It really is. It really is a tough stretch in terms of the Steelers season. But I have a lot of faith. I'm very hopeful about our Steelers. I'm very pumped up. I'm very keen to see, first of all, what can Russell Wilson do. I'm very keen to see what the running game looks like under Arthur Smith. I'm keen to see, Najee Harris have a breakout year again, and maybe they sign him to a contract this year, 2 or 3 year contract. Then you've still got Warren on his undrafted rookie contract. So surely they got to figure something out there too. You can't lose Warren. Look, I love them both, but hopefully they can figure something out. We have the 1-2 punch for the next 6 years or whatnot. So keen to see that. I'm keen to see Cordero Patterson too. He's the kickoff returner in the new kind of kickoff return. And Wilson, he's going to play. And Jones, does he move to left tackle? Do you have, do you have Fautanu playing right tackle? The O-line's bigger and stronger. I'm keen to see Zach Frazier as a rookie. I'm keen to see Roman Wilson. George Pickens, he looks fantastic. He came out and I saw some of his routes doing some things, and he looks more fitter, stronger. Calvin Austin, he looks pretty cool too. And Russell Wilson talked about Calvin Austin getting in the mix. This team, there's something to be really, really hopeful about this team on offense and on defense. We just need things to get to all to click, for the O-line to click, for everyone to buy in, to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. And they could start out 2-0. They could start out 3-0, 4-0. It could be a huge possibility. Even Minka coming back there would be fun to watch. Same with Joey Porter Jr., Elandon Roberts, he's going to be fun to watch. Peyton Wilson, everyone's talking about his injuries. He's going to be fun to watch. TJ Watt, he could break the sack record. So, guys, there is something hopeful and positive to cheer our team on. I know it's been a long stretch for about 7 years, 8 years since a playoff game, but there's something hopeful for our Steelers. And this whole episode, really, really, while I'm thinking about it, is because I saw this photo. I saw this photo by James Debo Harrison, and it fired me up. It truly fired me up to talk Pittsburgh, because I look around the roster, I look at all the moves that the Steelers have made, and I'm thinking maybe they can go on a run. Maybe they can win the division. Maybe if we get behind them, if we cheer them on as loud as we can, from Australia to Mexico to England to New Zealand to wherever around the world, Switzerland, wherever, Germany, America, if we can cheer these guys on as loud as we can, maybe they can go on a run and they can win the division. Maybe Steelers win the division 12-5. The Bengals 8-9. The Ravens are 10-6. The Browns are 4-13. I don't know. Maybe the Steelers can win the division, have a home playoff game, and by that time they are playing Pittsburgh Steelers football, running the rock like they did with Najee last year. He was absolute beast. Warren was carving it up too. Can they both get 1,000-yard seasons? And Russell Wilson playing that veteran-style football, getting back to the playoffs. And he's won a Super Bowl. Yes, he's lost one, but he's also won a Super Bowl with the Seahawks. And maybe, just maybe, he's ready to go on a bit of a run and fight and claw and just take on every opponent he can in the hardest schedule in the NFL based on the record last year. And even our division is really tough. And the Steelers can go 12-5 and win the division. I saw that photo of the one I created. I saw this photo on the Twitterverse, and I created this meme. I created this emoji with just Debo with that fierce look. And I've had him on the screen the whole time as I've been talking. And all it reminds me of is Pittsburgh Steelers football. Dead set. That's all it reminds me of. Is if you were to show someone like that one photo, they'd say, oh, yep, that's Steelers football. That is rough and tumble. That is hitting as hard as you can legally now, because right now the game is a bit softer than what it used to be in 2008. That is hitting hard as you can, like Debo Harrison did, and playing tough football, getting you through, getting you through when you catch the football like Debo did versus Kurt Warner and running 99 yards. The Pittsburgh Steelers need to put that effort in. Every single amount of effort that James Debo Harrison showed in that 99-yard interception where he ran back for a touchdown, I want to see that same effort into the season for our Steelers. And I bet you we will. Alrighty, Steeler Nation, a long episode. Please let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments if you like this. In the comments below, let me know if you like this long form podcast form where I go over the Twitterverse and I just keep talking Steelers until I run out of breath. Would really, really appreciate your feedback and comments on this style of video, because I can try and do this like once a week, like a catch up, a Twitter catch up, or whatever it may be. But I saw James Debo Harrison and I was like, man, this Pittsburgh Steelers team should be really fun to watch. And it's also something hopeful about our team. We have the draft coming up in 2026. We have some new quarterbacks. We have Omar Khan going crazy, going off. We have the Steelers, putting on events. Troy's coming back, putting on events. We saw Big Ben. We saw Jerome Bettis. We saw a lot of Pittsburgh Steelers get involved with the team. The culture, I think, is starting to come back. For a few years, it kind of didn't feel like anything was happening. Maybe it was a bit stale. But in my personal opinion, I feel like the black and gold culture is coming back and the legends are coming back to show the new Steelers how to do things. And the current Steelers like Cameron Haywood and TJ Watt and Highsmith are setting the standard for the new blokes to go out there and punch someone not punch someone in the head, but run over someone and truck them like Najee would, or spin move like Warren would, or tackle, this bloke, that guy there. TJ Watt tackling that bloke, that to me is Pittsburgh Steelers football. Alrighty, Steeler Nation. I'll see you later.